Welcome back to the Abundance Alchemist, your quiet space to remember who you are. Tonight we speak gently about energetic permission to rest, slow down, and experience simple richness, not as a lesson to learn, but as something your soul already carries. There's a stillness here, like the hush that lingers in an old kitchen long after dusk, the subtle click of footsteps. Slow, soft, gentle on cool stone floors. There's a kettle in the distance, its echo swirling and folding quietly into the corners of this safe place. As you breathe in, the air feels heavy with warmth, and you can almost sense the faded light, maybe a lamp left burning low. Just enough gold inside the darkness for you to see your own hands. Just for tonight, let nothing hurry you. Let the weight fall from your shoulders. All the invisible things you meant to solve by morning, let them wait. What if you've never truly been broken? What if your softness was always your power? What if this ache has always been an invitation? There's a rhythm here. Slower than clocks, slower than the world asks you to be. You don't have to pick up the pace. The air itself is patient. Every breath, every small sound, spaced wide enough for you to rest inside. With each inhale, imagine the quiet thickening, the floor cool against your feet, bringing you even deeper into the moment, the gentle sigh of the kettle echoing through the hush, reminding you that even the smallest sound is worthy of presence. It's safe now, see. Nothing extraordinary has to happen here. It's enough to exist in this gentle monotony, the simple act of showing up, of letting yourself belong in this space. There's richness woven into repetition. Abundance folded inside the ordinary. You're allowed to slow down, you're allowed to pause. Listen, can you hear the gentle tread of your own life, footsteps padding quietly toward nothing at all? The way time holds still when you let it, that's where life lives. The in-between, the waiting, the echo of small, familiar things. It's okay to notice how soft the breath feels leaving you, how the air cools the back of your neck, how the room holds a quiet weight as if it's keeping watch for you. Let this echo. There is no need to push past the tiredness. Let every part of yourself, bones, belly, mind, begin to exhale. Imagine yourself like steam rising from the kettle, warm, trailing upward and dissolving into the safe hush around you. Can you sense the comfort in hearing a gentle clink of a mug, the scoop of tea, water poured slow, the way it moves, spiraling softly? It's like dusk settling over a quiet village. When was the last time you let monotony feel like a lullaby? You don't need to hold it. The world will wait. The day will pause. You are not missing anything. There is nothing to chase here. No proof required. No gold star pressed against your name in the night. You already belong. You already belong with each breath. Let yourself fall further into the ordinary beauty, the hush, the softness, the quiet fullness, each gentle sound, footsteps. A kettle, distant wind, roots you deeper into enoughness. It's safe now. If your mind wanders, let it. Let each passing thought be like a reflection on water, noticed, but never held too tightly. This moment knows how to hold you. Even this is part of the remembering. Let your chest rise and fall. Hear the echo of your breath as if it's the only thing moving in the room. The small hush between heartbeats is the place where abundance lives. You're allowed to rest, to do nothing, to simply exist, and let that be your wealth. The coolness under your toes, the warm mug in your hands, the sound of water calming. Every detail is a whisper that it's enough to be. Let it soften here as you settle. Notice how your body begins to sink heavier into the night, as if the darkness itself has arms. And it's cradling you. The old kettle hums and falls silent. the footsteps fade. Only you and the hush of now remain. Let this echo. There's no reward for rushing. The richness comes in staying, in letting everything slow to the pace of your own breath. You don't need to do anything more. You can rest in the safety of monotony, in the gentle loop of each ordinary. Sacred night, let this be your welcome. Let this be your permission. It's safe now. There is a room untouched by hurry, where morning light arrives through a sheer curtain, soft as the inside of a seashell. It scatters, gentle, onto quiet skin and undisturbed sheets. She blinks in the hush, a slow return not to effort but to something already whole. Outside, the city waits, but inside, the hours have not yet been claimed by worry or expectation. Some mornings, the first thing she remembers is the sound of her own breath. Like dew collecting on new grass, each inhale is unforced, a slow gathering of gentle. The air moves, a little cooler near the floor, and there's that moment before she sits up, limbs heavy with softness. No alarms, no lists, no reaching for a glowing rectangle. Just warmth, the kind that says it is possible, right here, to own the day without holding it tight. It's safe now. She moves almost as if underwater, silk unrolling in a steady hand. One foot, then the next, toes touching a wooden floor, still remembering night. In the small kitchen, she fills the kettle. The tap sings quietly, like a secret river beneath the city. Ritual is a tender gravity. As she knows the movements by heart, the kettle's weight is just right, and the water inside is old as oceans, new as the rain that fell while she slept. As the flame catches, there is a soft hiss, life beginning again, but without the demand. Nothing to solve. The incense is next. Fingers trace the matchbox slow. The strike, the spark, a breath held as the tip grows bright and settles, the scent curling upward, making an invisible path toward morning's open arms. There's nothing she must create. The ritual holds her, always waiting, always welcoming. Even this is part of the remembering. No rush shapes her face. She stands at the window, steam rising from a plain mug. She watches the sky shift. The blue deepens, then softens, stretching out as if to greet her. Sometimes, quiet abundance looks like making tea with care, not because someone is watching, but because the world is full of tiny, secret invitations to slow down. The city will buzz soon enough, but here in this held hour, she feels the soft gravity of her own existence. Time here is neither enemy nor master. Skin glows golden, throat warms, thoughts slow like a river unfurling toward the sea, never rushed, always arriving. Let it soften here. There's an art to waking this way. It's a quiet trust, a knowing that nothing urgent will be lost if the start is slow. Ritual becomes a gentle riverbank, shaping the water of waking into something sacred. Repetition is not dullness, it is safety. As the kettle sings louder and settles back to silence, memory stirs. She remembers how often morning has tried to be a rescue when it only needed to be a soft landing. Let this echo. She moves through the room, fingers gliding over a favorite mug, the windowsill, a woven cloth. Everything touched is either warmed or cooled by her own attention. No part of her is outside the ritual, not the ache in her joints, not the thoughts that flicker. All of her belongs to this circle. The room holds secrets, sunbeam crawling up the wall, incense thread curling, steam twirling above water as if it wants to become cloud. Every movement, like river stones, shapes the day's beginning. Sovereignty isn't something to win, it is allowed every morning in these motions. Even if you drift, this still lands. There is no voice calling her back to the rush. Only the flame, the steam, the soft creak of floorboards under her feet. The world tries to teach hustle, but here, the lesson unwinds like silk. There is wealth in slowness, treasure in repetition. She lets herself be remade by gentle mornings, by water that boils only when it wants, by light that always returns, by the knowing that her softness is her original language. In these quiet starts, she finds both refuge and richness, an endless morning to inhabit again and again. There is a quiet room. Tonight, the world is gentle. Slippers brush across old floorboards, a hush of soft cotton on wood. Even the air seems to wait, holding its exhale, just to be near you, a drawer that's belonged here longer than memory itself. Its grain smooth from old hands, slides back, undisturbed to the smallest sound, barely a sigh. Coins that lived here for years, maybe decades, waiting in their wooden pocket, pressed bright against each other, pressed warm by time. The hand that reaches in lingers, not because it must, but because it can. There's no hurry in the movement, just the settling of presence. The weight of a single coin in the palm, a small, round comfort. Another and another, counted not for need, not for lack, but simply for the way it feels, the little thud and chime as they stack. Silver against silver, copper on copper, notes in a song the room already knows by heart. One then two, sometimes three at once, cradled in soft skin. Every sound repeats, gentle and ceremonial. Even the smallest movement echoes, unafraid to take its time. Let it soften here, the drawer doesn't close yet. There's nothing that needs hiding. The coins lay waiting, seen and held. Some things are rich, simply because they are witnessed. Just the way a sigh fills the whole body, and then leaves it softer. Even this is part of the remembering, a hush in the room, long and low. She stands without rush, air shifting around her, robe drifting against her knees. Each step is a practice in slowness. The quiet slide of slippers is a promise that nothing here will be taken, nothing snatched away, only offered when the time is right. Let this echo, grain in a bowl, rough and round, wait against her hands. Its sound. A tumble like small rain on an empty dish. There's a doorway between worlds. She stands on the soft line where inside meets open air. The wood creaks beneath her, as if it remembers all the mornings, all the old rituals, all the times she thought there wouldn't be enough, and the times there was more than she needed. The breeze lifts the edge of a sleeve, just enough to feel real. She pauses for a long time, almost too long, at the open door. Look how the light wants to follow her out. Look how easy it is for something gentle to lead the way. Each breath she takes is slow, letting the quiet fill everything. The bowl is warm from her hands. Let it soften here out in the old garden. The ground is still cool. There is a sound, not urgent, of grain scattering. Little seeds hiss as they meet earth, spreading in unplanned patterns, loose and light. She streams handfuls across the ground, no rush in the shake of her wrist. Not working to feed, not hurrying to finish, just letting the grain fall where gravity wants. No right spot, no wrong spot. Sometimes a coin clinks in her pocket, remembering its place. Birds come even before the last seeds rest. Low wings beat the air before feet ever find the ground. They are natural, inevitable, the thing that always comes back. They aren't grateful, not expectant, just alive. The scattering makes a little chorus, a shuffle, a flutter, a settling, every sound repeated in tiny, half-awake echoes. It's safe now. She stands very still, just breathing. Watching wings and seed, emptiness and plenty, her own body softening with each exhale. There's a memory in her bones of days when nothing felt certain, but tonight, certainty is a soft hum under her skin. She doesn't count the birds. She doesn't measure what's taken. The giving is enough. The having is enough. Every repetition, slipper on floorboard, coin in palm, grain on soil, wing in air, loops back to the same dream. There's time. There's enough. You don't need to hold it. Sometimes she wonders if the coins ever matter, or if it is just the counting that heals. The quiet chance to say, I am here, I have this, I am not empty. Every coin counted is a piece of old fear soothed away. Last night, tomorrow night, always the drawer will open, the coins will wait, the counting will begin again. Nothing rushes her, nothing threatens her. The world is gentle, and she is allowed to match its pace. Some birds leave after a few seeds, while some linger long after the scattering is done. She learns their patterns, not from need, but from simple noticing. The empty bowl swings at her side. As she listens for the end of sound, learning that not every silence needs to be filled. Not every space is hungry. Not every heart needs more to be more. Even this is the abundance you forgot how to name. As she lifts one coin, presses it between her fingers. The metal is cool, but she is warm. She lets the weight pass through her, letting the story soften again. How she used to fear the drawer would one day run out. How she thought the birds only came for comfort. Now she knows coins remain, no matter the count, birds return. Whether or not they find seeds, she is safe, even after the giving. Let this echo, the house breathes with her. The windows hold morning light, but the world stays slow. Nothing asks her to rush. There is wealth in the counting, wealth in the waiting, wealth in the slow permission to stay soft, to be still. Grain on earth, coin in drawer, slippers across warm wood. Again and again, the ceremony completes itself. Repetition is not proof of scarcity. It is the sign that life keeps returning. Each ritual is a gentle braid, of sound, of memory, of love. The more she allows slowness, the wider her world becomes. The ache for more dissolves, little by little, in the softness of enough. Let it soften here. When the last bird lifts, a feather drifts loose. Wind carries it unhurried across a small patch of sun. The drawer, the bowl, the garden, all remain as they ever have, ready to be returned to in the next quiet hour. As she closes her eyes and lets her own breath sound like the smallest coin circling home. Even this is part of the remembering. There's a sound that lives somewhere between comfort and noticing, the hush of bristles across old stone, a kind of gentle truth layered into the early air. She lets the broom find its own slow rhythm, no rush, no list. No weight of needing it to be different. Each sweep gathers a little more of whatever the wind left behind. Small leaves, pale dust, thin twigs that look like stories spun in some quiet language. The air moves softly around her, just cool enough to make her shoulders relax. And with each pass of the broom, there's a tiny clearing, not just on the stones, but somewhere softer. Somewhere inside. She doesn't sweep because the yard demands it. She sweeps because the sound is soothing, because order feels like a quiet breath. Because making space in the simplest way feels like caring for herself. It's safe now, sometimes, when she closes her eyes, she can remember another broom from long ago, a smaller hand, not her own. Clutching a wooden handle patterned with her mother's fingerprints, the sigh of straw bristles, the way dust motes sparkled in a strip of sun behind kitchen windows, her mother's hands steady, moving quietly, not speaking but humming a tune she'd never quite catch, the care moving from floor to spirit. With no one needing to name it, let this echo. She notices how her thinking stills with the broom's rhythm. Thoughts that used to float in sharp little currents become slow and loose. Like clouds dissolving at dusk, there's nothing for her to fix right now, nothing complicated. The ground beneath her feet is enough, just as it is. Every sweep makes a tiny pattern, order out of randomness, not perfection. Just invitation, a gentle nudge that even chaos will gather in its own time. You don't need to hold it. She hears the wind talk, small branches knocking. Old leaves spinning in soft circles before they settle. She sees how easily the yard lets go when the time is right. It doesn't shame what's fallen. It doesn't cling. With each sweep she feels her own edges soften too, as if she's sifting through old memories. Letting what's heavy fall away, even this, is part of the remembering. Sometimes she thinks of her mother's voice, low and certain, saying nothing about cleaning, just making space for the day to begin, passing it down with quiet gestures, as though sweeping was a kind of blessing, tidy, not for others, but as a gift to whatever spirit passed through the front door. Let it soften here. The broom moves along the path again, trailing small waves of dust in the cool morning. Her thoughts arrange themselves in their own gentle order, not all at once, and not forever. But enough, she remembers. There have always been times when clearing felt like a burden, when she tried to rearrange what wouldn't move, but this is different here. The act of clearing is the ritual of noticing, a permission to exist just as she is, nothing more needed. Even if you drift, this still lands, the motions repeat. She finds a kind of grounding in the simple flow, left, right, pause. Gather, no need to rush, no need to make it perfect. Each sweep is a letting go. She notices the sky, how light changes the color of stone. How everything is softer in the morning. It's safe now. Sometimes the world tries to tangle her, fill her space with too much to hold. This little ritual is how she untangles the knot, not by force, but by choosing what to keep. What to set free, her mother's broom, her own broom, both moving through time like a quiet inheritance. Through her hands, care keeps circulating, cleaning as a way to remember, to anchor the day, to clear a place for breathing in. Let this echo. The path doesn't need to be spotless. Shadows will gather. Leaves will fall again, she knows now. Order is not the opposite of chaos. Clean space is how she honors every part of life. Even the mess that belongs. Each sweep is part of the story, not erasing what's real, but making enough space for softness to move through. You don't need to hold it in the quiet after. She stands on the newly cleared stone, feeling the calm stretch out in her chest. No applause, no witness, just breath slowing in time with the breeze outside. The yard returns to itself. Inside, something in her is in order again. Simply because she cared enough to tend it. Even this is part of the remembering. Some mornings the world feels quieter than you remember. Not empty, but open, like a wide field before anyone's walked through the grass, in the cool air. As she stands barefoot on the smooth floor, eyes slow to open, and peels an orange one curl at a time. Inside, small clouds of juice find her fingertips. Each segment slides away, clean, tender like the heart. Coming apart for something older than words. She doesn't rush. There's no hurry in this giving. Just half the orange, set gently in a shallow bowl, orange against red lacquer, sunlight meeting candlelight. No explanation given, no secret wish spoken. It's an offering, whole and plain, left not for good luck, and not for proof, but just because there's something right about letting sweetness go free. Every day like this, something inside her softens. The old ache, the belief that to have means to hold, to want less, is met by a new current, a warmth, an inner yes. Gifts don't have to be erased by need. Joy doesn't have to be bargained with. Let it soften here. She reaches for the incense next. The stick is thin and pale, almost weightless. She holds it by the base. The match strikes the first sharp scent, a tiny pop, the fragile roar of flame. The incense tip glows, then settles back to a slow ember. Smoke rises, at first a tight wisp, then softens, unfurling, gray and blue, sweet and strange at once. The scent is more than smell. It's the memory of forest after rain, but warmer, the air heavy with spice and wood and the echo of 1,000 prayers. None of them asking, even the sound has texture, the faint sizzle as resin meets fire, the hush of smoke as it stretches up and fills the small space. Every inhalation brings a new layer, something honeyed, something green, a little musk that seems to rest at the back of your mind, making its home. It's safe now. This is abundance, given away without a ledger for so long. The world taught her, taught all of us, that to give meant to lose, that every orange cut in half is half as much joy, but here, hands open. No accounting, just breath. The shrine does not expect her name. The room holds what she offers, smoke weaving with sunlight on the floorboards. Let this echo, somewhere in the body, a door uncloses. She remembers years when giving felt dangerous, like unthreading your own safety. Weren't we all told that empty hands mean an empty heart? But here, now, giving is silent, gentle, shy, nothing taken, nothing claimed. Softness is the anchor. The orange glows as the incense thins. Both dissolve slowly, their purpose not to be seen but to be felt. Unseen blessings given freely. That's how the wealth builds inside, quietly, almost in secret. Even if you drift, this still lands. Sometimes she listens, just to how the room feels after letting go. There's a fullness, a hush that isn't silent. The air is layered. Cinnamon and citrus, sweetness and fire linger against her wrist, like the warmth that drifts through memory long after a kind word is spoken. She thinks about how effort used to feel like a mountain, like a test, and now giving happens by itself, almost by accident. She doesn't bargain with the shrine. The gift is not currency. It's a wave, soft, old as the morning light that rolls out and returns. The smoke pauses, then bends toward an open window. Let it soften here. A gentle reversal starts inside the chest, the old wince of wanting, the fear that being empty means less life, less love. These begin to slow. To quiet, the orange is halved and whole at the same time. The incense is burning down, scent still growing. Sometimes the richest moment hides inside the smallest quiet. Let this echo. There's no measurement, no audit here. Only the trust of breath, the cool air tasting of fruit and fire. Her body remembers that abundance is not an achievement. It's a state that deepens as giving gets softer, as need goes silent, as the heart lets go of trying. The world, too, seems to hold its breath, sunlight on her toes. The hush of fragrant air, unwinding, even this is part of the remembering. She likes the sound of coins, just the smallest clink, not because they measure her, but because they come and go, like leaves outside this window. Most afternoons, when the house is quiet and the sun is soft, she settles in her favorite chair. The old ledger waits nearby, not urgent, not hungry for answers. As she opens it the way some folks open a storybook, gentle, never pressing hard on the page. Money here is not a storm. It's the afternoon light moving across the floor, slow and predictable. Her hands rest easy on the teacup. Her breath is slow. She hums, almost without knowing, that half-remembered phrase passed down. There's always enough for tea and time. Just those few words, rolling softly, easy in the heart. Calm makes everything feel truer. The numbers in her ledger are never threats, never secrets pressed under a rug. They sit together like friends in the same room, taking up the space that belongs to them, no more, no less. It matters, this quiet. If the body feels safe, the mind can rest, and memory can open to new stories. Like a garden watered not by schedule, but by instinct, like the soft thump of a cat landing on the rug, unnoticed but trusted, like bread rising on the counter, slow and inevitable. Each gentle choice tells her nervous system, there is no hurry here. Let this echo sometimes. She'll put the pen down mid-thought, sip her tea, let a slow breeze make the curtains dance. In those pauses, the ledger feels even lighter. As she notices the ink is never rushed, her script slants just a bit, as if leaning toward comfort. In the very back, a proverb in another hand, wealth grows best where worry rests. She smiles at it, recognizing her own grandmother's hand, the soft loop of every letter. This is why calm matters. The signal runs deep. Peace calls abundance close. Money cannot bloom in clenched fists. She never calculates while bracing against the world. Instead, money is welcomed into her calm, the way rain soaks into earth overnight, like the hush before the kettle whistles, like the promise found in the slow unfolding of morning. It's safe now, at times. Memories of past tightness flash by, the weeks when the ledger felt heavier, the world sharper. But here, in this windowed corner, something old softens. She remembers how being gentle with herself made space for kindness in her accounts. It's a wonder how money, unpressured, finds its own level. Like a river settling after a storm, like the steady ticking of a clock whose battery never runs dry, like the dog pressed warm at her feet, sure he belongs. Her choices mellow with every breath. Her anxiety, now distant, feels like a story belonging to someone else. Awareness soothes old urgencies, letting her practice a new pace. Let this land, she knows, deep at the center, that neutrality is a truth no one else can give her. She dissolves shame by sitting here, not different, not alone, just present. There is no forbidden energy trapped in these coins, only echoes of stories she can now rewrite. The ledger is just a book. The tea is just warm. Her breath is just breath. Yet inside this ordinariness, wealth becomes welcome. Like laundry folded in the sun, radiating care, like the old chair's shape learning her back by heart, like a door left unlocked, because trust lives here. Even the phrase she hums settles in her chest. There's always enough for tea and time. You don't need to hold it. Even this is part of the remembering. Some nights, when the world is quiet and nothing asks for her attention, she finds herself at that familiar drawer. A shallow hiding place, tucked away, filled with stacks of worn envelopes and layered postcards. Her hands reach, almost by themselves, tracing the edges and lifting each memory like it's something both fragile and precious. Under her fingertips, there is the drag of textured card stock, the glossy feel of old photographs taped to birthday hellos, the whisper-thin smoothness of envelopes worn soft by years of being handled. Each paper shape is a map back to a moment, shaped not by numbers or goals, but the way gratitude lives in the letter forms, a thank you in blue ink, curving just so, the blocky handwriting of someone long gone, pressing against her palm. Sometimes, it's safe to remember that abundance isn't something she chases. It waits in the quiet place where connection leaves an impression. The sense of wealth is in the return, in the way energy circles back, sometimes quietly, always somehow at the right time. This matters. And because the world often says that abundance must arrive loudly, through numbers, through more, through achievement. But what's real is what the hand can feel. the weight of one small envelope pressed between her thumb and forefinger. The indent where a pen paused, heavy with emotion. The crease at the fold made by someone who took real time. Like a garden she never meant to plant, but that grew anyway in the cracks, like the curve of a mug tucked between sleepless hands at sunrise, like the way an old friend's laughter lingers in the walls, long after the call ends. Let this echo. It's safe to remember that wealth is reciprocal. Not a number, not a prize, but something traded, then returned. Each letter is proof energy lent, given, then offered back. Her heart remembers what her mind sometimes forgets. The touch of belonging, sent across miles, carried in a stamp, slipped into the mouth of a mailbox with hope. How many times has she sent her own ache, her own softness, out into the world by way of pen and paper? Each act a loop, completed not because someone replied, but because something inside her knew. Letting things move is what makes them come back. This is abundance, in the most ordinary and holy form. Like the sound of rain against the roof, returning year after year, like the memory of warm arms in the dark, barely recalled but still stored in skin, like the way butter softens under a careful touch. Ready to be spread, you don't need to hold it. It's safe to remember that relationship is the most private prosperity. What has been scribbled and stamped and sent is not lost. Each message is a seam, stitched into the fabric of her being, reminding her that she is continuously rejoined by others. Sometimes she reads the same note again and again, feeling the rise and dip of the signature with her thumb, almost as if she could trace the other person's presence through the pen's gentle pressure. There in the underline, in the smudge, in the spot where someone pressed too hard or too soft, she finds herself whole again. She remembers that she is not forgotten, not disconnected, not ever truly alone. Like a candle flickering past midnight, throwing old shadows against new walls, like the echo of a familiar melody, heard from another room, like the comfort of wool pulled close on a cold night. Let this soften here. It's safe to remember that memory is its own kind of riches. Nothing physical has to last forever, but what the skin recalls, what the heart treasures, remains. The texture of love doesn't wear thin, not truly. Each crease, each stain, is a sign of being lived with. Over time, the stack grows taller, the stories deeper, her body catalogues every texture. Sharp corners, soft smudges, the buttery slip of envelopes worn thin with gratitude. As she lets her mind wander back through the years, to days spent collecting the mail, hoping for a letter or taking time to write one herself. Like the hush just after a storm, clean and sweet and rich, like the pulse of her own heart, counted out, evening by evening, like stepping barefoot into warm grass, finding the world still holds her. Even this is part of the remembering. There's the gentle hush of evening creeping along the window sill, each piece of cloth, still holding the warmth of the dryer, folds under her hands. That easy rhythm is its own quiet world. Then something surfaces. A memory, a sentence floating up, softer than you'd expect. We can't afford that. The words aren't loud anymore, just there. They linger in the pause between one towel and the next. There's no sting, only silence. The silence takes up space. Does it ache? A little, but the ache doesn't grip, it's familiar. It has lived here before. So she stands there, hands touching cloth, while the memory simply exists. It's okay to leave it untouched. For a moment, nothing needs to be fixed. The room fills with a hush. She just breathes. A deep inhale, and then another, and then a third, each one softer than the last. There, it's safe now. The folding continues. Each corner brought to meet its opposite, fabric settling into squares. There isn't any rush here. That old tension, the one that used to make her chest tight, grows quiet. Order blooming softly, right on the kitchen table. It's a kind of magic, how old wounds shift shapes when met with hands that aren't forcing them away. The hurt still lives here, but it's changing, like a garden growing under a cloudy sky. Like the hush before rain, like finding wildflowers in a crack in the sidewalk, she notices the memory again, a little gentler now. The voice in her mind repeats, "Not for us, not now," but it's quiet. No pushback, no argument, just noticing. The wound is smaller, softer, somehow both present and dissolving as the moments pass. Even this is part of the remembering. There is enough room for both the ache and the soft release. For scarcity's old shadow, and for light filtering in through ordinary things. This is how it happens, not through forcing, not by rescuing, just by allowing. Letting a wound be seen without being chased away. Like a garden that grew without being watched, like the way water knows where to flow, like a prayer you didn't know you were praying. Scarcity dissolves here, in the stack of towels, a little lighter, a little less sticky. These actions, repeated and gentle, teach the body a new story. Every time hands fold and lift, the past weaves quietly into presence, and presence writes a softer script. It matters because healing never demanded grand gestures. It matters because the soul remembers softness better than it remembers fear. It matters because every quiet kindness to one's own ache turns the volume down on 1,000 old shoulds, like moonlight glancing off old wood floors, like steam fogging up a winter window, like the slow warmth of soup after a hard day. She glances around, room the same, but energy shifted. Folding, she feels a delicate gratitude trickle in, not as a celebration, but as a settling. There was a time when the ache was everything. Now it is just something, just as true, just less demanding. Let this echo. She moves on to the next shirt, the next towel, the memory now braided into the ordinariness of late afternoon. The wound, still here, is also transforming, held by hands that no longer fear remembering. The old patterns start to rest. The breath feels deeper. Safety, even in this simple thing. Like rain sinking quietly into thirsty earth. Like the soft hum of the washing machine at bedtime. Like the quiet relief of returning home after too long away. This is the soul remembering itself. Why it matters. Because every day brings chances not just to survive the echoes of scarcity, but to let them melt in small, mundane, sacred ways. You don't need to hold it. Even this is part of the remembering. Sometimes the world feels draped in daylight, all edges softened by something you can't quite name. The car seat fits your body differently when you give it permission to hold you. You feel the gentle warmth seeping through the glass, painting slow-moving shapes through the windshield, gold and green, and the hush of the street just beyond. There's nothing to fix, nothing to fill, just breath and the quiet fact of being. You let the engine go silent. There is no song, no voice in your ear. Only the distant murmur of tires, a dog that barks, the lull between one heartbeat and the next. You could check your phone, but you don't. The world keeps turning, people moving too fast, always arriving, always searching for a moment that feels like enough. In this hush, you realize time can open inside you, like a flower that chooses dusk instead of dawn to stretch its petals. Your hands rest in your lap, empty but never lacking. A shadow flickers above, branches drawing slow, tidal patterns across your skin. The air here is full of patience, the kind that lets you linger in your seat just a minute longer. You're not being tested. No one is keeping score. The ache to prove to be somewhere else loosens its hold. It's safe now. Out of the car, you walk with soft feet over old concrete, leaves whispering at your ankles. You remember how to move quietly, as if you belong to the unseen rhythm under everything. There is no rush in your legs. A quiet question moves through you. What is yours to carry? What can stay behind and dissolve in sunlight, in the smiling glance of a stranger, in the small kindness of moving slowly? Even the stuff you don't buy, all those things you once mistook for evidence of enoughness, seem lighter now, unnecessary. You notice you hold almost nothing. 2 things in your hands, maybe 3. A softness in your chest. Something like relief woven through your shoulders, because you know now you were never meant to hold it all. Let this echo. The line at checkout is moving slowly, but you do not cling to the clock. Your feet root, your breath floats. The hum of the store is a lullaby, a chance to watch people living out tiny versions of hurry and hope. You meet your own eyes in the window's reflection and see no need to rush. Uncompressed time, this is what it feels like. You release the old contract with urgency. Even this is part of the remembering. On the way home, you drive beneath clouds that remind you of folded sheets, pale against noon sky. The road is friendly, familiar, not a demand but a gentle path. At a red light, you smile at the realization. You didn't do much, but you did it differently. The world reveals itself to those who go quietly, who let time loosen and pool around them like water. You don't need to hold it. Opening the door to your house, the air feels almost new, washed, receptive. Everything is lighter without the weight of more. You leave your shoes by the door, carry only what rests comfortably in your hands. A kind of ease fills the rooms. Evening slips in, trailing the sound of soft footsteps, and there is nothing you must explain. All the moments you thought you missed are waiting here, unrushed. Calm, whisper soft and woven into the breath of this night. The pace you honored has changed the space you return to. You could call it abundance, but the body knows it as safety. The mind finds the rhythm of home. Even the smallest errand can be a ceremony of sovereignty. You don't need to remember this by morning. Your body already has. Close your eyes if you want. Feel the weight of the day settle around you, loose and easy, like the last bit of evening sun slipping through your window. Picture yourself in a quiet room, where the air is soft and smells faintly of something warm and comforting, maybe vanilla, or the memory of incense that burned a little while ago. In this room, there's a small old desk, sturdy with presence, a little chipped at the edges on it. One candle glows. Its light is gentle, not insistent, just enough to paint a gold line along the cover of a faded leather book. You reach for the ledger. The spine is worn, pages crinkle as you turn them over. No need to rush. Let your body be as slow as the day turning to night. You don't come here to add or subtract. You don't come to prove or perfect. Tonight is different. You just sit and listen to your own breath. The only task tonight is to notice what made it all feel a little softer. Maybe it was a smile from a stranger. Maybe a moment you looked in the mirror and didn't rush away. The softness is here if you let it be. Now, pick up the pen just to thank what's already arrived. Maybe you notice the ink is faded. The listings are slow. Nothing needs to be added or fixed. Tonight, all you write is 2 small words. Enough today. Let silence stretch here, like a deep, gentle pause in your body. Notice where those words land in you, the ease, the release. You don't need to hold it. Feel your chest, your belly, your jaw. Notice any place that softened with those words. Let the silence linger. No rush, no pressure. Adjust the light, the page, your own soft breath. Even this moment is wealth. The candle flickers. Shadows move with you. Nothing is demanded. You close the ledger, trusting every joy, every ache can rest in these pages a while. The light never asks for more from you, only that you remember you're meant to receive, not only to reach. You can feel this truth moving down into your bones, tracing its way through your body in a way that needs no explanation. Let this echo now. It's time for some gentle remembering. Every phrase is here to meet you exactly where you are. Between each, let the space do the work. I am already enough. I am already enough. Abundance belongs to me. Abundance belongs to me. What I have, I can cherish what I have. I can cherish. Every breath is a quiet gift. Every breath is a quiet gift. I bless what is, not what's missing. I bless what is. Not what's missing. Gratitude grows without effort. Gratitude grows without effort. It is safe to rest when I've done enough. It is safe to rest when I've done enough. All that is for me is already weaving its way home. All that is for me is already weaving its way home. Receiving is safe. Receiving is safe. Receiving is safe. There is a moment at the very end of day when everything simply breathes, and nobody asks anything more from you. It's quiet but not empty. You stand in the light that is left, holding your cup, feeling its warmth find your palms, settle into your chest. The world, for once, lets you be just this. Curtains drift in a hush of air. The kettle cools. Your body feels the soft invitation to sit, to finally, truly sit. One last stick of incense, chosen with a care that is almost invisible but so real to you, is set alight. The match flares and disappears just as quick as a memory passing. The smoke rises, first anxious, then slow, then graceful. You watch it curl, gentle, unhurried, reaching and pausing and dissolving all at once. Let this echo. You have given and gathered all you will today. A table cleared, a phone darkened, no more questions. Now there is just you. Now there is just the breath and the cup and the way the last bit of warmth lingers at your lips. You are not alone, not missing, not unfinished. Tonight, simplicity holds you, and it's more than enough. Tonight, the end of day is an altar, the air a blessing, the stillness a celebration you almost forgot belonged to you. The incense curls again, an effortless dance, spiraling up, then away. You notice it wants nothing, not to last, not to be seen, just to be what it is until it disappears. Every time you exhale, the air stirs, and the smoke finds a new path, but always it releases and is gone, and you are gentler for having watched it go. It's safe now, somewhere in your body, a long-held holding lets go. You find the smallest gratitude, not loud or eager, just a settled knowing. The cup empties, the day empties, nothing is lost. You follow the tail of the smoke until it is only a memory, the faintest blessing, disappearing into the ceiling, remembered but not clung to. Release sinks into bones, not forced aloud. It's quiet, but you hear it in the hush. You are not what you have done. You are what remains, complete, present, witnessed by the softness of this closing. Whatever happened before this moment now belongs to yesterday. Whatever didn't happen is no longer yours to carry tonight. Even this is part of the remembering. You watch the smoke again. It curls. It lets go. You nest in the soft ache of enoughness. The cup is cool. The hand unclenches. You observe fullness where once there was seeking. There is only you and the space that contains you and the breath as it travels from heart to quiet belly. There is only this. The flame at the end of the stick flickers one moment longer, then bows out, leaving just a wisp of warmth against the dark. The incense smoke repeats its quiet signature of release, imprinting in your body that letting go can be soft, sacred, effortless. You echo its rhythm just by being here. Let this echo. There is no need to reach forward or back. There is just your presence, as precious as gold, as ordinary as a cup cooling in your hand. The end of day is simple and holy, its closure the most generous gift. You rest in this truth, witnessed, relaxed. As the last of the smoke disappears, you know enoughness is not earned. It's remembered, felt in the breath, the still air, the silent closing of the day. Welcome back to the Abundance Alchemist, your quiet space to remember who you are. Tonight we speak gently about whispered affirmations from a life of integrated abundance, not as a lesson to learn, but as something your soul already carries. What if you've never truly been broken? What if your softness was always your power? What if this ache has always been an invitation? Breathe into this moment. Nothing is asked of you. Not even the act of letting go needs to be forced tonight. Just the soft recognition of all that pulses quietly beneath the surface. Let the muscles of your body melt. Piece by piece, notice how the fabric of your bed meets you with warmth. There is no urgency now. Sleep is not a finish line you have to cross. Let the moon overhead keep watch, full, bright. With nothing missing, she blesses tomorrow for you. You never have to rush ahead to meet it. You don't need to hold it. Each breath arrives. And then it goes, not clinging, not rushing away, just held for a moment. It's in the middle space between what was and what will be. If you feel a longing, let it rest beside you now. If you sense an ache in the heart, let it have its lair in this quiet, part of what's being made whole. Tonight, all parts are welcome. Even the questions that can't quite form, even the edges that never rounded out, even this is part of the remembering. Let your soul spread out as wide as this room allows, soft and uncontained. Let this echo inside the hush. You're already returning. No story to uphold, no evidence to gather, only the slow reminder. You are already held, it's safe now.